The push continues to get more people vaccinated against COVID-19 as concerns grow about the highly contagious Delta variant. Health experts say the Delta variant accounts for 58% of new cases nationwide. COVID-19 cases are rising slightly here in Minnesota. Thursday, the Minnesota Department of Health reported 216 new cases and 2 deaths. Reporter Sonia Goins spoke with a North Memorial Health ER doctor who says we're not out of the woods yet when it comes to COVID-19.
We've observed low-level increases, largely in the community-based testing.
Although things have somewhat returned to normal, Minnesota health experts say now is not the time to let your guard down when it comes to COVID-19, especially if you're not vaccinated.
We've seen proportionately higher levels of hospitalization per infection with the Delta variant in the last 2 weeks than we had observed at any point previous in the pandemic.
Dr. Cameron Berg with North Memorial Health says the Delta variant accounts for many of the new cases. He says that's because the Delta variant is more easily transmittable.
If you were walking past somebody or in conversation with somebody that was infected with the Delta variant, remember that 50% of the time or so, they might not even know it. It's likelier that you could contract that infection than it was, say, several months ago.
The emergency room doctor also says people infected with the Delta variant tend to get sicker.
If you were to become symptomatic with it, it also appears likelier that you would be at risk of more severe disease.
Dr. Bird says many people who are admitted for COVID-19 here at North Memorial Health were not vaccinated. Dr. Berg strongly recommends people get vaccinated if they're eligible.
We know that people who are fully vaccinated have about 88% protection against Delta variant, which is quite good.
Health experts say misinformation is mostly to blame for the high number of unvaccinated Americans.
I understand concerns about new technology and new vaccines and potential complications, and those are all legitimate, but when we compare them to the very real possibility of having severe disease from COVID or dying, I think that the answer is quite straightforward.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Dr. Berg says North Memorial Health is trying to get 100% of its staff vaccinated to prevent spreading COVID-19 to patients. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, about a quarter of all new COVID cases are children. This comes as local school districts weigh masking policies when kids return to classrooms this fall, especially in elementary schools with unvaccinated students. In Minnesota, there are currently no plans to instill a mask mandate in schools. However, that may not be the case on school buses, which are overseen by the federal government. The former Brooklyn Center police officer charged in the fatal shooting of Dante Wright is seeking to block cameras from the courtroom. The attorneys for Kim Potter argue that cameras would lead to an unfair trial. Papers filed this week by Potter's lawyers call the prosecution's argument to allow them, quote, soft and fuzzy. The trial of former Minneapolis officer Derek Chauvin was the first time cameras were ever allowed in a Minnesota criminal trial. The Maple Grove Fire Department has new tools to help them with water rescues. The department recently purchased 2 new rescue boats. This week, firefighters started training with them, and we had the opportunity to get an up-close look.
Everybody's driven a boat before? Familiar with boats?
Every job requires training and repetition.
There's 2 trim switches on this. There's one on the motor once the battery's on, which is over here on this switch.
And that's especially true for the ones that involve saving lives.
If you're going to go in for a rescue, you want to definitely have this on.
Earlier this year,
when we took it out last time, we had 4 or 5 guys in here. It's pretty comfortable.
The Maple Grove Fire Department purchased 2 new boats to help them become better equipped to handle a water rescue.
Push it down to release, these just pop off real quick.
One is an 18-foot aluminum rescue boat.
Ready, 1, 2, 3.
And the other is a 14-foot inflatable Zodiac boat.
All right, let's slide.
Which is designed for getting onto bodies of water without an easy access point.
There you go. You just got to watch those wheels, right?
This is the department's opportunity to get everyone trained on the new equipment.
Everything that we do in the fire service, it comes down to training and repetition. We don't want the first time that a firefighter uses this equipment to be during an emergency. So we want to make sure they have a chance to familiarize themselves with the equipment.
Keep coming, keep coming.
After familiarizing themselves with the equipment, the firefighters practiced using the boats at nearby Weaver Lake.
Our new boat combination gives us a larger boat for lakes like Weaver Lake and Eagle Lake, Fish Lake, and a smaller boat that's a little bit more portable that we can take into places that don't have good access.
Unlike the 40-year-old boat they just replaced, this new, larger boat has a ladder ramp they can use to save multiple victims at a time.
Any large body of water in Hennepin County, Sheriff's Water Patrol has the primary responsibility, but they're coming from Lake Minnetonka. So us having the boat here in town allows us to respond in a much more timely manner.
Which makes having these boats available in town that much more important. The hope is that they never have to deploy these watercraft, but should the need arise, they'll have the ability to get there quickly.
Much of what we do in the fire department is practicing for emergencies and then hoping that we don't actually have to do the emergency.
An important day is coming up in Brooklyn Park to celebrate the contributions of Liberians living in the city. Brooklyn Park city leaders issued a proclamation this week proclaiming Monday, July 26th as Liberian Independence Day in the city. Liberia was the first African nation to gain its independence. Brooklyn Park has one of the largest populations of Liberians outside of the Republic of Liberia itself. An estimated 4,000 people of Liberian descent call Brooklyn Park home. We'll be right back.